Question: are assault weapons a serious problem in the United States? As we're coming up on an election, we thought it prudent to go ahead and cover 7 gun myths. And regardless of your political slant, everybody can benefit from this so that when you go to talk about guns, regardless of what side of the debate you fall on, you don't sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Like this.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
There is no rationale to own a military-style weapon, an AR-15, that if you're a hunter and you need an AR-15, you shouldn't be out there hunting. If you need 100 rounds in your clip, then you're a danger to yourself if you're out there hunting. I'm not joking.
Yeah, so you don't want to sound like that. In this video, I'm going to give you some facts, address some common misconceptions, myths, concerns, so that it provides a resource that you can share with others and also answer some questions for you. All right, folks, today we're launching a video on 7 gun myths. I thought it'd be fun for you guys to get an incentive if you guess a myth, and I will give you a code that will save you money on Sportsman's Guide's website. There's our call-out page.
Are you talking about the code War Poet?
Yeah, we already have that code.
We know about the code.
I'm not sure everyone knows that code.
Is there a new code?
That's a good question. Is this a different code or have we changed codes? Hopefully not.
So this is a code that's going to help you out with hunting accessories, camping, survival gear, firearms. That's the kind of code
Code War Poet, though.
That's the kind of code we're talking about here.
Yeah.
No one knows if it is the same code.
It sounds exactly the same.
Well, if there's a new code, I need it.
Frank
and
needs
I
to
want
know.
it now.
Get it out there.
All right, guess what? It's the same code and no incentive anymore. Y'all are like the worst. You're eating Skittles secretly. You can eat Skittles here. Skittles are fine.
I'm not eating those.
You are eating. All right, guys, so to answer the very first hook question I gave you in the beginning, are assault weapons a serious problem in the United States? The answer is no. A whopping 0% of our gun deaths in the United States are happening from assault rifles or assault weapons. Assault weapons are things that can be fired automatically. So even if it's done with an AR-15, which is statistically extremely small, less than 0.001% of gun deaths in the United States happen with AR-15s. Those are not fully automatic rifles, so they're not assault rifles. Therefore, 0%. And that has already pushed us into gun myth number 1, which is AR-15s are scary automatic assault rifles. This is not true, as AR-15 is the name of a patent. It stands for Armalite 15. It does not stand for assault rifle. Assault rifles are things that can be fired fully automatic, and AR-15s do not fire fully automatic. It's semi-automatic, which means you have to depress the trigger, and when you pull the trigger, only 1 bullet is fired, and to fire a second bullet out of an AR-15, you have to let off the trigger and pull again. That means you can't shoot these nearly as fast as fully automatic unless you're Jerry Mikulek, because he is a cyborg and he does what he wants. The second myth is that more guns equal more deaths per capita. It's really easy to debunk this one as you look at all of the active shooter events always happen in gun-free zones, something to the tune of 94% of them. Also, you can look at all of the strictest cities around the United States on gun control, and what you'll find out is all of the gun deaths seem to be happening in those places. 25% of all gun homicides seem to be happening in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, and Washington, D.C. So you can see tight gun control really just disarms the good guys, not the bad guys. Numerous statistics, and I'll also quote the great Dr. John Lott, who is the pro at all of this stuff, notices as the rate of concealed carriers goes up, the violent deaths with guns goes down. Gun myth 3, making guns illegal will solve our problems. We're in a place that's a little bit different than other countries, so looking at countries with far less people and stricter gun laws and no guns isn't quite as fair, knowing that we may have more guns than people in the United States. That means to find all those guns and pull them away from all the bad guys isn't really a reasonable thing. At best, you'd ask the good guys to disarm, many of them would, and then the bad guys, have a field day. I know this isn't a fun argument because you feel like, hey, if we just make crime illegal, surely bad guys will follow the laws, right? For the fourth myth, we're going to return to the scary black AR-15, and the myth is that black militaristic rifles are inherently more dangerous than other guns. I'd like to show you this scary black rifle. And by the way, when you say black rifles are more dangerous, why does the color of the gun matter? It shouldn't matter. This is a black rifle, but this AR-15 shoots this size bullet. This is a .22 caliber bullet. It's a 22. It's a tiny little bullet. It's made for like squirrel hunting and things, right? This is for an AR-15. The cartridge is bigger because it holds more power, but the projectile is very slightly larger in diameter to the tiny little 22. This is a .22. This is a .223. It's almost the same diameter. This one is slightly larger, and the only real difference after that is this one is traveling faster. Then you take a bullet out of the most common handgun caliber, a 9mm, and you'll see, whoa, that 9mm bullet is way bigger than the .223, which comes out of all the AR-15s you're seeing around. Then you can move up to something like a hunting round. Now, a hunting round that comes out of your grandfather's beautiful brown hunting rifle will be massively more destructive in force than something like an AR-15. You can look at the bullet size comparison here out of something like, say, a common hunting round as a .308 compared to this .223. To make matters worse, a shotgun is devastatingly more destructive than one of these black rifles. In effect, quit judging guns by the color of their paint. The next myth is that guns are inherently dangerous, that guns just simply go off like little spontaneous explosions that no one can really control. And this confusion amounts just simply because you don't really understand how guns work. Now, I happen to know how these guns work, and because I understand how they work, I understand that they can't just go off. You can load a round in the chamber and bang on it with a hammer and it'll never go off unless I put the gun on fire and pull the trigger. Guns are not inherently dangerous. It's not even the gun that kills a person. It's the person that kills a person. If you just left a gun on a table, it would never go off. It would never jump up and just attack you. The gun is neutral. You'll notice in places like Europe where gun deaths are lower because they don't have access to it, people are just getting murdered with knives and screwdrivers and hammers and all kinds of improvised weapons. They still have a terrible murder problem per capita. It's just not with the gun. The problem isn't the gun. The problem is people are bad and want to do bad things. And also mental health is a huge problem as well. You don't blame the tool, you blame the person. If there was a car accident, you don't blame the car. You blame the person driving it. Guys, we're pushing through these. The next gun myth is the Second Amendment is about personal protection and hunting. Our founding fathers wanted to give us the freest nation ever conceived of by man. And because they were escaping tyranny, they wanted to put in place a surefire way to make sure we would never be conquered by tyrants again. So first off, they gave us the freedom of speech and religion and press. We got the right to free speech. But as good historians, they realized that you could give people all the rights they wanted, the government would take those away eventually unless you gave the people the means to protect themselves from tyranny. And so the Second Amendment is the right to bear arms, and they say the government is not allowed to take away your guns. A lot of you guys had asked the question of like, do you trust your government? Do you guys really trust the government to have all the guns? What is your recourse if the government ever went really bad? The only way to stop someone with a gun is ultimately with a gun. And so the Second Amendment guarantees that the government is not supposed to be able to infringe upon our rights to have guns. Guns are 80 times more likely to defend an innocent person than they are to actually take a life. So when you take away the guns, it isn't just about Second Amendment. You're going to kill a lot of people because you're denying them the ability to defend themselves. The last gun myth is that guns aren't super fun. Listen, guys, listen. Guns are super fun. Some of you don't like guns, and that's because you haven't shot guns. But I encourage you to get a beautiful black rifle, not caring about the color of its paint, and you just fall in love with it and you shoot it all the time, and then you will be a happier person and you will be able to protect yourself, and tyrants can never own you. Guys, these are 7 gun myths. Some people will say the 7th one isn't a real myth, and I would say, why don't you go ahead and unsubscribe? We don't want you around here. Just kidding, don't unsubscribe. I need the subscription. Hit the subscriptions bell, notifications bell as well. Share, like, comment, all that good stuff. Make sure you join our WPSN app as well. It's our streaming service. All my gunfight classes are on there, and we're also making shows and really cool content. Make sure you check it out. Train hard, train smart. We'll see you next time.